So over my shoulder is my mother-in-law, my Aunt Till, and her grandson Liam. And today we're placing a flag on a relative that served in the Confederate Army. So here we are at the Waters Cemetery in Blackshear, Georgia, and you can see by the sign it says established in 1848 by James A. Waters. And many of you have seen in my canning videos where we've been putting up food, seeing my mother-in-law, who I refer to as Blessed Nana, or my favorite mother-in-law that I refer to as Blessed Nana. Her maiden name was Waters. I've always been wanting to do a Who We Are series, to not just on the Walsh side but also on my wife's family, because obviously we live where they live. My family still lives in Michigan. Some of my family does. I do have a brother and two brothers here. But so one day I'm going to start that Who We Are series. So today is the unofficial start of it. So I just showed you the sign to the cemetery that said founded by James A. Waters. And this is the grave of James A. Waters. And Liam just wanted to come bring a Confederate flag to place here. So you can see from this headstone it says James A. Waters, born February 25th, 1826, died December 9th, 1992. It says, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I kept the faith. So conferring with my mother-in-law, or Blessed Nana as you know her, we're trying to figure out if this is 6 or 7 generations back. We can't figure that without a piece of paper and a pencil to write names down and to make sure we're missing somebody. So all this goes back to family history on my wife's side. And at one point in time in the past,
it would be fifth generation, Jackie 6 and John 7.
Okay, so Blessed Nana is saying 5th generation for her, 6th generation for my wife Jackie, and 7th generation for our sons John and Andrew. So, and 8th generation for our grandchildren. So that's how far this goes back. But this cornfield at one point in time was Waters' property. It's not anymore, but it was in the past. Okay, over here to the right, so since Captain Waters founded this cemetery, over here to the right is a slab with no name, no headstone, no markings, no nothing. Except this slab says the first known grave of Waters Cemetery. So at this point in time, have no clue whose grave this is. But beside Captain Waters' headstone or grave there is his son, James O. Waters, and his daughter-in-law, which would be James Waters' wife, Molly Carter. But over here are 2 headstones for James and Molly Carter's children, a daughter and or 2 daughters, and then a son here, that all 3 of them passed away from some sort of epidemic in 1956, all within days of each other, that the 3 children passed away. But what's interesting is Molly was 7 months pregnant when those 3 kids passed. So back to tying this in to my mother-in-law, or my favorite mother-in-law, is James Waters is her great grandfather. So that's how all this ties in. And that was just a tidbit of Who We Are. Like I say, this is the unofficial start of Who We Are series. So I just thought it was a interesting bit of information in a history lesson that I just thought I'd share with y'all. Here's a copy of a photograph of Captain Waters back in his Civil War uniform. But I also have 2 letters I'm going to read to you that he wrote his mother, and we just have to remember the English they used. They didn't have a lot of education, so it's not the English we would use today, or his spelling was not how we would spell today. And this is the first letter from James Water to his mother, Mrs. Benjamin Waters, and he wrote it on the march from Pennsylvania near Winchester, Virginia. It says, "My dear beloved mother, I received your kind letter and was glad to hear from you, but sorry to hear about the death of Sister Emily. But, dear mother, it is for the best, or she would not have been taken from the bosom of a kind mother. I know your feelings, but I have no idea, but she is now smiling in the enjoyment of heaven, and would not be back for 1,000 such worlds as this, so don't let her loss grieve you, my dear mother. I received Sister Mary's letter and was glad to hear from them all. Dear mother, I am badly worn out. We have been in Pennsylvania and Maryland, and I am badly worn out. My feet is so sore I can hardly walk, though I have marched long ways in that fix. We have not gained anything by going there. We have lost, killed, and wounded about 30,000 men. We have lost 2 from our company. Our captain, E.M. Ford, was killed, and poor little Ern Newton was killed dead on the field. Mother, will you please send his mother word about his death as soon as you receive this, as I have not time to write any more at present. Tell Brother Wiley provisions is awful high here. I have to pay $1 per pound for all the bacon I eat, and can't get much at that, and other things in proportion. Dear sister, you must take this letter for all. I was glad to receive your kind letter, and tell Jenny to write to me. Now may the Lord guide and protect you while in this troublesome world, is my prayer for you, dear father, mother, and sisters. Remember me in your prayers, so that God, who is able to save us in that kingdom which I hope is prepared for us. I feel the need of prayer on my part. I got shot through my coat and shirt on my arm near my shoulder, but was saved for some purpose, I don't know what. Signed, Captain James A. Waters." Now that letter I just read is a typewritten copy of the one you see here, which was actually penned in Captain James Waters' handwriting, but it's a copy of a copy of a copy and so on, so it's almost hard to read at this point in time. Here's the second letter, and it says, PC, November 16th, 1870. Dear Mother, I write you a few lines to inform you that we are all well at present, truly hoping these few lines may reach you safe and find you all in the family enjoying better health. I want to see you very bad but can't come yet. I am going to Savannah tomorrow, but I shall have to return back on account of my cane. I have 1 acre planted, and some folks say it will make 10 barrels of syrup. Tell Brother Wiley Michael Guino pays better on cane than anything. I have tried it on my behalf. I am afraid of losing my seed cane, or I would come and see you from Savannah. I want to come before or about Christmas to see you, and I think now I will fetch the children to see you all. I have made a pretty fair crop this year off corn, cotton, very poor potatoes, very good. I am not cutting ties at this time, as we have stopped for the balance of the year. Margaret and the children all join me in sending our love to you all. No more at present. Only I remain your loving son until death, James A. Waters. And this here is the handwritten copy of James A. Waters' letter in his hand, but obviously it's too hard to read. So that's a little bit of a history lesson for today. And there's a lot of things going on in our country, some good and some bad. And a lot of people trying to destroy our historic monuments, in good or bad. Yes, there's a lot of things in our history that we as Americans aren't proud of. But if we don't learn from our history, we're doomed to repeat ourselves. So tearing down all these historical monuments, and just like, showing Confederate graves today. Right or wrong, it is what it is. But tearing down monuments is crazy. Because we have to learn what we were to know who we are and to know who we need to be. So don't tear down monuments. Coming to cemeteries like this and tearing monuments out and moving them is just lunacy. So I hate to get off on a political rant, but it is a history lesson for today that we need to learn for tomorrow. So with that being said, I wish everyone a good day, a good weekend, and a good week coming up, and may God continue to bless you in your daily life. Take care, and see you next video.